You may have seen it, or you may be dealing with it yourself. Elderly drivers who perhaps should no longer be behind the wheel.
According to a new study by AAA, older Americans these days are driving longer than previous generations. Channel 4's Stacey Spanos joins us now with the effect older drivers are having on our highways and the warning signs, Stacey, when experts say seniors should turn in those car keys.
Well, Tom and Mary, with more baby boomers growing older every day, this is a very relevant subject. And to put it into perspective, take a look at these numbers. In the early 1970s, less than 50% of Americans 65 and older held a driver's license. And in 2010, 84% in that same age range had a license. New research shows not only are older Americans driving more than ever, experts say some of them probably shouldn't be.
Meet Helen Yatropoulos.
First of all, do you mind sharing with us how old you are?
Oh, yes, I'm 91.
We would do the breakfast.
Helen stays busy. She's involved in her church.
You don't know Margie?
Takes good care of her home and her husband, to whom she's been married for 68 years.
I usually come this way.
Helen's been driving.
Since I was 15.
But if her daughter had her way, she'd put the brakes on that, especially because of her mother's spotty driving record the past few years.
She's bumped into things, she's backed into things, she's had people hit her, she's hit people. And over the last 2 or 3 years, there's been, I think, 7 different incidents.
Do you feel like it's time now for you to stop driving?
Only because my husband worries.
Only because of that, not because you feel like maybe you're a danger on the roads?
For 27 years, Ron Page has been teaching driving safety classes. He says older drivers are better drivers in some ways because they're conscious of their limitations. Page says studies prove teen drivers are the worst drivers.
But according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, seniors are involved in more car crashes, measured by the property damage and collision claims they file. And that worries Ron Page.
Numbers are going to increase and the problem's going to get worse probably before it gets better. The biggest problem comes from 85 years old and older. Up until that point, they're generally pretty safe drivers.
Mommy, I'm not finding the hammer.
One of the hardest problems for adult children, like Helen's daughter, getting elderly parents to give up the keys. Ron says you'll know when the time is right.
If they've had a lot of close calls, if they've had more than the usual amount of even minor fender benders, I think it's time for an intervention.
And I don't want something catastrophic to have to take place before she decides that maybe her skill set is not what it needs to be.
Helen told us she'd give up driving during our interview. For this busy, independent woman, it's going to be tough to adjust to life in the passenger seat.
All my life, I've been a chief, not an Indian. I'm always chairman of everything, and I'm sorry that I cannot do what I used to do.
By the way, Helen's daughter told me her mother got in one more accident about a week after our interview. Fortunately, it was another minor accident, but ever since then, she has stopped driving, Mary.
Oh, that's brave of her. You know, this is a really tough issue for older people. I know my dad's still driving, Stacey. He's 93.
Ooh.
I know. Giving up the car keys isn't easy. It's their freedom. Is there anything families can do to make the transition easier?
Well, we went through it with my father, too, and I know it was absolutely a struggle, but you do have to have these conversations, according to experts, long before they reach this point. Talk to them about the possibility that, hey, Mom, Dad, you may have to give up driving. What is the plan that we are going to put in place as a family? Also, you need to consider that their medications may interfere or impair their driving, so get their doctor involved as well.
I like it that you said, what is our plan to make this work, rather than I'm taking away your keys and that's it. You know?
It impacts the entire family.
Absolutely.